Yeah, we might see a battle of Tiny and Marcy both going mid this game. Like, you often see Tiny paired with Beast because Beast is a hero that you can just kind of leave alone, get some levels, and he'll roam a lot. Dawnbreaker, I guess you can leave it alone. It's not the same type of hero as Beastmaster, where you want to do that. I think with Dawn, you kind of are looking to win your lane, but it's pretty early on, and I know a little bit about the offlane Dawn. I just haven't played it a ton or covered it a lot, so I'm not sure if it wants to be sacked like that and just kind of like get it 6 and just play more of a support. If you do that, I guess you are maybe looking for that Ags build because you're having less farm on your hero.
No, I think it is definitely, you are right. I think you do want to play with the Dawnbreaker up until like the Weaver starts getting like level 4 or 5, those higher levels Shikuchi, and it starts being like you feel kind of pointless to be in lane. You play for the power runes.
And now they picked an Underlord, so who is laning where? This is the question.
I haven't even seen an Underlord this patch, I feel. And on top of that, how is it fitting in this lineup for BetBoom?
Root is really annoying for the Weaver.
Yeah.
So they might actually put Dawn mid this game.
I mean, I feel like I very rarely, like every hero I feel like pairs with Marcy in that regard. So, like Underlord does kind of work to that regard. I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
What about the Dawn mid?
Yeah.
Would they do that? I've seen Underlord mid occasionally. I've seen Visage mid, but it's probably not. So they can do anything. You know, they just picked 3 offlaners here, so
Yeah, pretty much.
Whatever. Anything goes.
How do Mind Games want to respond to this then? Are they just looking to...
I mean, I looked at it, I was like, oh, Timber looks good, but Timber's banned. Bat looks good, Bat's banned. Something that can abuse, like, just how much...
percentage-based damage, right?
I was going to say how much HP they have. You have to be able to cut through all this, like, raw HP. So Necrophos is not bad. I was thinking, like, Zeus too, maybe, but this makes a lot of sense, too.
All right, well, they're picking out where all the heroes are going to go, which roles they're going to fit into. And we're going to be bringing in our casters, Aries and lizZard, for this final series. Aries, how are you doing? Do you want to give us some information on this draft for you?
I think, well, firstly, I'm doing well, thank you, Nat. I'm intrigued in regards to how we get to see another BetBoom Visage. Previously, these two teams, they faced in the 2-2 finals in that first qualification spot, and BetBoom in both those games, they first faced a Visage. So I was intrigued to see if it was going to get let through, if Mind Games were going to ban it. They get a pretty filthy combo, a Marcy Visage, it's nasty. I'm going to be intrigued to see if Mind Games can deal with that.
lizZard, are you shocked by anything, or what are you looking forward to seeing?
I'm shocked that they got both a Visage and Marcy. Like that for me is a little bit like what did Cap say? He said it's a bit broken. It's ultra broken. Rebound. You can jump on the birds. You have Grave Chill. It's it's incredibly strong in my opinion. But Necro last pick, it might do the trick.
Do you guys believe in the Necro, or do you think the Marcy Visage is just way too dominant here on the couch?
I mean, I think the Marcy Visage is going to do a lot of work in this game, so Necrophos has to just go ham, win his lane really hard, and help snowball the game.
Yeah, Necro is one of the heroes that SVG and I talked about as like the kind of hero you kind of want in this loadout.
It's okay to be in those team fights. So, you know what? I'm going to put my all in for what you guys have been theory crafting over there. We'll see, though, if it's going to pay off for Mind Games if they found the counter as we head into game 1 with Aries and lizZard.
Thank you, Nat. Yeah, lizZard, it's a very interesting draft, especially for BetBoom. Of course, we've got a lineup where some of the newer heroes are getting played. Of course, this is now my second cast of Marcy, so in general, I'm just excited to see how this is able to shape up for BetBoom. We even get a Dawnbreaker as well. And for Mind Games, you know, the last pick Necro, for me, I feel like really helps out with some of the issues that they had prior, but overall, how do you feel about this? Because, I mean, both these sides, again, we didn't also get to see them battle up at the Mage. Unfortunately, Mind Games weren't able to be there. BetBoom had a pretty good showing, but just what are some thoughts here?
First, this is our second series that we're casting together, right? So that's something as well, and we're getting the Visage once more. Like, I expect a ton of kills. That's something. Do you remember the last time we cast? I said like these lanes, they have no way of killing each other. No bloodbath is happening. No Eastern Europe stuff. Like this time around, I can foresee a lot of kills being dropped. Like sub 5-minute mark. You have Visage, you have Dawnbreaker, Marcy. I expect that. When it comes to the Necro, there are some things that are decent for BetBoom. Like they do have Enchantress, right? And you can't hide into the Nether Shawl as it can. Let me click on Necro. Ghost Shroud.
There
Nice.
you go.
20 years of Dota. I'm gonna learn it one day. Yeah, you can't hide in the Ghost Shroud. You have that enchant to work with, so you can get rid of that. Then a couple of maybe someone builds a vessel, perhaps the Enchantress herself as well, and you can deal both with him and with the Tiny in one item pretty much. It won't be easy because the laning stage itself is what's really important. If the Necro gets a good start, even getting rid of that Ghost Shroud might not be enough.
Yeah, because for me, looking at it as well, like BetBoom, I think their lineup is very much reliant on just the snowball, take objectives incredibly fast. We could be looking at like a 15 level timing as well for the Hark on the Visage. A lot of people have spoken about that. This talent with the armor corruption, with the familiars and going for AC. I know Dahak kind of likes also this Ags build. He's got some very unconventional builds and just ideas about the Visage than anyone else really does. So for me, though, I'm just really looking at BetBoom and how they can steamroll this game. And you're mentioning if Necro has a really good start, then he could get to the stage where he's very difficult to kill. Then that can maybe slow down the early game siege that BetBoom need to be relying on.
Yeah, you can have that situation in which Necro is just completely up front. He's defending. Keep in mind that they obviously understand the Hawk loves his Visage, right? So what can they do? They can either ban it or they can let it go through and then counter it. It's not only the Necro that's strong against the Visage. You also do have the Winter Wyvern. Like, Visage is one of those heroes that can kill anyone on his own side or himself if he gets ulted next to the birds. So he needs to be extremely careful about the way he positions himself during these pushes.
Okay, so in your opinion, do you feel like Mind Games have done enough to deal with the Visages? Slayers gonna scout at the 5-man rotation. Oh, look. Oh no, Force Mage is already jumping Slayer with Lyle's follow-up. The Avalanche is gonna help Slayer be able to fly down to the river, so the Winter Wyvern just surviving on a slither of health.
Force Majeure, if he used his observer there behind the hard camp where it's usually put, Visage gets a kill. He just needed vision for that Soul Assumption. It had 3 charges. Didn't happen. You asked if they have enough, or if they'll be able to deal with him. I think that they have enough, but it comes down also to the way lanes go, right? Like if there's
he's gonna take a lot of damage here actually on the Weaver. So Kuchi's still on cooldown for a bit, has some 1 charges to play with as well, but the abilities also on cooldown for BetBoom, so Weaver's able to scurry out.
Mm-hmm. He's a little dinosaur, by the way. Dinosauric. That's the nickname.
Is it a cool looking dinosaur though? Because if you're not a cool looking dinosaur and it looks like every other dinosaur is able to eat you, then I don't care. Like, I just get him off my screen. It's got nothing to do with it. You're not in the history books.
It's like a small dino, dinosauric. It's like a small little dino coming into the lane. We'll see how dangerous he'll be though. As yeah, we talked about him. We discussed that he'll probably be that position 1, right? The carry, and it looks that way. They are dodging the lane though. He will not be laning into the Visage. Probably for the best. You can lose half of your HP with 1 Soul Assumption as a Weaver, so probably better not to lane there.
I mean, we see bottom lane as well. Petashara has got axes at the level 1. We're really starting to see, especially Eastern Europe Beastmaster, they've been preferring actually top lane. Dino, are they going to be able to find him in the tree line? They are, yeah. So 1 charges and a Selv if required. Sakuchi up in a couple of seconds. Oh, he pops the Selv instantly. Ticked over from Seneko. Dino's having a horrible start.
Now that's really not a scary dinosaur, right? Like, he's running around now with the Tango. At least he brought a lot of branches to the lane, so that will help him. But if he gets caught again like that, he's probably dead in the next Pit of Malice.
going to be difficult for him to last it in this lane as well. He might be really reliant on Sakuchi. I mean, you're against the Underlord, who has such a high damage advantage, so we honestly might see Dino just having to try and secure a couple of them off the back of the abilities. They are doing a decent amount of damage into Seneko, though.
Yeah, and like you said, he wants to use that Sakuchi to last it, but if he does, he gets Pit of Malice, and then he loses 50% of his HP at least, or dies like he almost did last time, so... Yeah, needs to be careful on the top lane. Meanwhile, on bottom, this is, like... Visage and Marcy... I can't, man.
I mean, it's just delayed as well. Like, wait until we get the familiars rocking as well with the sidekick. It's going to be a stupid combo as Petasharo taking up massive amounts of damage here with the spam of the Soul Assumption. Bignum feeling like they could get aggressive with trying to toss them back onto the tower, but not really going to be able to win out in that trade there. We got to look mid real quick, because this is interesting. Hold that thought. We got a Dawnbreaker mid, lizZard. Like, before any kills happen in the side lane, what are some thoughts on this matchup? How it's going to shape up?
Well, Dawn should not win middle lane against the Necro. I'm certain of that. But so far, she's doing all right. 26 CS versus 24. I mean, you do have multiple ways of dealing with Necro, even through Ghost Shroud if he skills it. But you're a melee strength hero versus Necro. It's never fun. But yeah, we'll see how much she can do later on. I heard the panel discuss what their favorite builds are on Dawnbreaker. I've seen it all, really. From different regions, different builds. From Echo Saber Shard, Blink Shard, Aghanim Scepter. I agree with Cap, sort of, that the Aghanims is my favorite as well. It just changes the way the game is played. You win teamfights off of that, so I'd love to see it.
Yeah, for me, I think the first time I was really seeing this Dawnbreaker was Motivate, actually. It was Q, who's now on Talon. He was running the full Dawnbreaker at that time. No one else was really putting a lot of emphasis on it, and he was going this, like, Holy Locket Ags build, and you were just playing the side lane. Oh, hang on, bottom lane, Petasharo. Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble here. Force Major, but the Dispose back, putting Beastmaster in a compromised position. Another round of the Soul Assumption is not enough, as Petasharo limps away on the Beastmaster once again, and he's got to sell to be able to keep his resources healthy.
Yeah, the power of Raindrop. Every time you're playing versus a Visage, it's like playing versus a Tiny. Raindrop saves lives. So just get that item, make him waste his Soul Assumptions on you, buy another one if necessary, just keep yourself alive. It's important. It's important not to feed.
They're going back in though. Force Major once again. Look at the combo coming out as well from Lau with the early ultimate. So the Dawnbreaker is going to try and get involved down bottom, and they should be able to chase Petasharo down. The nighttime will not be enough to cover his retreat as BetBoom hit the board, and that's a great way to start as well. Lau getting active with the Solar Guardian, instantly looking to be a proactive force in this game, and top lane as well. The action continues as Slayer gonna be able to dodge the attempt thanks to the Arctic Burn. Dino holding them back for the moment.
Yeah, Enchantress doing Enchantress things, spamming Chain Lightning, making their life miserable. Also, Underlord is casually doubling the CS of the Weaver, so you can see how that lane is going. But at least they do have the Dawnbreaker jumping from mid to bottom, helping out win one lane. Perhaps she can do the same on top and really seal the deal against this Weaver.
What is Slayer's role for the next couple of minutes? Because I feel like he can't do anything to secure top for this Weaver. Like, I think, for me, I'm just looking at, like, you drop a sentry and then get out of there and just let the Sakuchi try and last it. As Ankrad has Force Major nearby. They might try and jump Slayer instead. They're going to be cautious how long they stick around. The threat of the Scythe. You see how patient they're playing this one from BetBoom. The Scythe's going to come out. The damage, it is enough afterwards, thanks to the Winter Wyvern, but it is going to come at a cost of a 1-for-1.
Well, he was there. He helped out a little bit. You asked about his role. His role, well, he instantly feeds afterwards, but it's okay. He was stacking as well. He already made 3 stacks. It's pretty good for the Necro. Perhaps Beastmaster as well, that can take the stacks. So when you understand that you're a position 4 on offlane that isn't doing a lot, you always do the same thing. You fall back into the triangle, you secure the runes. That's your job. You somehow try to get those levels. but I have to say it's not the best position to be in when you have this team of full aggression that's played against you. Do you expect it though? Like when you see these 3 cores, do you expect to lose early game?
For mind games?
Yeah.
Well, I think we were both under the assumption that BetBoom is, if they can win the lanes, then the early game for mind game is going to look atrocious. Look at bottom. I don't know, lizZard, this is just the start. Familiars, Catapult. They're going to try and TP down. Ankrad is definitely a difficult target to burst through, but you see how they're trying to do it to the room, but the Fiends get in, but the Underlord's going to get involved. The toss away, nice play from Bignum. Get down, Mr. President. We'll try and get you out to safety, but look at BetBoom. They're hunting. Not going to let the Necrophos escape the bottom lane. Full commitment onto Ankrad as 3 go down, and this is scary signs for mind games.
Yeah, extremely scary and perhaps to be expected. If you're not bringing your full force against this early game push, you will lose these fights, and I'm not sure if it was the best idea to TP the Necro in there. Obviously in hindsight it wasn't, but if he's TPing in, perhaps the Weaver should as well, even though he's level 5. just TP and trade a couple of kills at least. This way you just fed the tower, and an additional 3-4 kills didn't really help. They just have to find some space, dodge these fights somehow, as just putting the Necro up front like we expected them to do at the moment doesn't work. It doesn't work because your supports have no levels. Your Wyvern needs that, 6 at least.
I don't know where they're going to get the capture on mind games, because I feel like the map is just going to continue to shrink. For BetBoom, it's not like they're a lineup that really relies on catapult timing every 5 minutes to take towers, but if they want, they could wait the next minute, then group up mid, and easily be able to take another tier 1 tower. And then as soon as you lose this mid tier 1 tower, I don't know how mind games are going to be able to kind of formulate a wall across the map and get these much needed levels and even gold as well.
So you're saying they need to formulate a plan.
Oh, they gotta pull something out of the hat, man. I know it's 9 minutes in, 3,000 net worth lead. We'll see how they can set up this play up top. A lot of the percent damage coming through from Slayer is going to help out, especially with the Scythe committed from Ankrad. So beautifully done. You've got Petashao now, who can help link this into a bit of damage under the tier 1 tower.
Well, that's a nice start, right? He also has these travels. That's the first item that he went for. Sometimes these travels look good, sometimes they just completely backfire as you wasted 2,000 gold, have no stats from it right early on. We'll see just how well it will work out for them, but this kind of approach is good. Like, see, if you find any openings such as that one, capitalize on them, perhaps force BetBoom to defend. If they're defending, they can't be taking your towers, right? Even if you lose a fight, at least you're buying yourself time.
See how minimal amount of damage though they did to the tower up top. Instantly the Underlord TP's back up, deals with a push, and they're gonna go mid. There's that catapult, so we already see the heroes on BetBoom starting to converge on this location.
Slayer still doesn't have his 6. Is that a tome? It is. Okay.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Scouted out.
How are you going to get them to group up, though? It feels like it has to be Bignum running in, or maybe Ankrad putting his body on the line. There we go. Pana's going to look to start. Decent amount of damage, but BetBoom... Oh, all right, Slayer.
Perfect.
What is that curse? Finding all 4, so they get rid of Loud to start the fight. Now, the Hawk's going to try and TP out as well. Wow, mind games. All right, you lose to tier 1 tower, but Slayer finds a incredible curse.
Yeah, that was just so well played by the two of them. Look, Bignum and Slayer, these two know each other forever. Like, ever since... I remember them playing some joint Dota leagues even against me. Always in these similar teams. SFZ, I believe, at one point and whatnot. It's... Like, they understand each other really well. That toss back into Winter's Curse, on point, nets them a couple of kills. Does not stop the push. But all these kills do matter, because you need to break the snowball. The moment you can break the snowball, you break it. The moment you break it, the Necro gets a couple of items together with the Weaver. You can start split pushing. And you relieve the pressure off of you as they start being like, okay, can we actually push? Maybe Winter's Curse will do the same to us again. It becomes more tricky.
Yeah, without a doubt, I think just exactly like you mentioned, just the big thing is just slowing down the push on BetBoom, just delaying, getting Dino a little bit of catch up. He's working, well, in fact, he's very close to the Maelstrom, and that's that big item that Weaver needs. It's really the farming excellent for him. And now with a little bit more map to play with, maybe got a couple more camps up top, an extra lane of farm, and we could continue to see Weaver, you know, getting towards that next item, but do have a bit of a movement coming up from BetBoom. 3 heroes trying to pard their way down bottom, but nice read from Aincrad, who was aware of this attempt from BetBoom.
Yeah, he also bought that vessel, by the way, on Necro.
Oh, what the... Dude, the Hawk, man. Why you gotta Wraith Pack first item? Why you gotta do that to him? He rushed it, Lizzie. He rushed it, man. What is this?
Literally it. No boots, nothing like that. Just 2 null talismans into a raid pack. It's kind of normal, right? Like getting the Vlads early on Visage. But the raid pack definitely helps them when it comes to this deadpool push. It gives them the aura that they need, plus the active is really nice. And then you can truly do the 5-man snowball.
So... what is the play here for BetBoom? Like, what's the next objective they're really looking to find? It's just the casual cleanup of the T2 tower down bottom? Do they want to try and get some control by Radiant's triangle? Hold on, bottom lane, Aincrad. They're going to try and force some rotations. They tuck him back into the pit and force Major. They've been utilizing the Unleash to try and soak up the damage into Aincrad. They've got a TP Lyle down now as well, thanks to the Solar Guardian, but they know the curse has already been expended, so BetBoom, they can group up a lot more confidently for this fight as Dino might be in trouble. Jesus, that time lapse ever so close to being caught out.
Yeah, but he's top now, so there is no way that he joins this fight. They need to defend without him and without Winter's Curse. This should not be simple.
Don't think they can. Ooh, alright, they're actually going to push them back, so Dire have full control of bottom. Like, they have way too much vision in this area. It's going to be so difficult for Mind Games to enter the jungle.
At least Weaver isn't there. He's on the mid lane, pushing it in. So, he's having fun, he's finding farm, but bottom lane... yeah, the pressure is mounting.
Force Major, look at him jump in again, but Bignum quicker on the fingers with the toss. Beautifully done. Puts Force Major in a position where he was unable to dispose Bignum back inside the pit. And they have broken this siege down, so this is huge. Now for Mind Games, it's going to give you an opportunity to reoccupy your own jungle, trying to take away the vision. You see Slay's already on that.
The thing is, like we talked about earlier, these small mistakes from BetBoom hurt them a lot. Like even these kind of kills. So they have to be really careful, as their snowball might just melt.
Nice toss. Bignum's having a very good early game. This is even without the blink. KDA is not looking too crazy, but we've seen a couple like minor plays for him have a lot of impact.
He's a 5 tiny, right? It's not really like him and Slayer are kind of 4 and 5 at the same time. I would even say. Doesn't really matter. But they aren't giving him any space.
The siege. Notice the Force Major gonna try and target down Aincrad, but they group up for another beautiful curse. The Slayer gets rid of the life of Force Major, but they have pushed them away from the tower, so BetBoom looks like the 3rd time will be the charm.
Maybe that's even what Marcy wanted. Like you go so deep to make them use that Winter's Curse. And after that, after the Winter's Curse is used, you can actually fight on the side of BetBoom. You're not afraid of anything. While Winter's Curse is up, it's almost impossible to fight. So, they do get that tier 2 tower, tier 1 on the mid lane as well. Next objective for BetBoom usually is... what Ares? It's the big guy,
it's the
right?
Roche. Yeah, the big boy. The other dinosaur in this game. He's something. Some mythical creature this guy is.
It's like a dino, I guess. He has pretty long arms though, but yeah, some dino dragon, I don't know.
Man, Lyle's... Okay, so again, we were speaking a lot about the Dawnbreaker build. It feels like the hero can be played in multiple roles. We're seeing a lot of the 3-4 at the moment, but Lyle on the position to Dawnbreaker feels like the Desolator is what is required out of him in this game. How are you feeling about this build?
If you look at... Like, there are better item builds, let's say, in general, but perhaps in this game he's looking at it. I have a Visage. Some extra minus armor will definitely come in handy. It will help us push teamfight. It's a ton of damage together with Luminosity. It's not bad. I've seen the same build. Now he has a shard with it as well. So it gives you that position 1 potential, right? Like, it gives you that potential to actually transition into a true position 1 core, as they don't really have that. They have 2 semi-cores on 1 and 2.
I think also some respect has to be given to Mind Games at the position they're in. Like, it's 1,000 deficit. It definitely is a big timing right now for BetBooms, where we're seeing them start to make their way over towards the Roche Pit, but Rated, they did also get the blink on Bignum, so we've seen what can happen prior a BetBoom to group up. What's happening? Look at the look.
He was pretty good without the blink. Maybe this will be his downfall. You know, suddenly starts jumping in. But the Hawk sees it, but they can't do anything about this play.
Do you agree? Do you feel like they weren't in a position to be able to maybe contest Roche with the blink and curse?
Perhaps if they smoke up in the perfect moment, they blink in curse. Sure, if you can approach them properly with it. But Winter Wyvern doesn't have that blink, right? It's only on the Tiny, so perhaps it would be kind of harder for him to get there. It was possible, but
Just, I feel like for Mind Games within the next 5 minutes, I just have to imagine it's split the map. Like BetBoom, they do very much have issues with, I think, finding pickoffs on the side lanes, and you can always put Slayer in like a tree line. You've got Weaver, who is pretty decent at being able to do that as well. Just Sakuchi in, Bugs. I mean, we saw Weaver support for ages to be able to split push, and even got the Beastmaster as well to stall. So I'm intrigued on how, if Mind Games can play this relatively well, they might not lose.
I'll just ask you one question. Like, how many reliable stuns does BetBoom have? Like instant stuns?
Yeah, none.
Right, it's very difficult for them, extremely. Unless Force Major gets like some blink into dispose, it's almost impossible. Even with that, it's not that great. So for a viewer, this game should be extremely simple to find his farm. And once that BKB comes online, the roots don't truly matter any longer, right? So that's maybe one of the reasons why they didn't fight Roche. Just wait for their timings, Bignum.
They're gonna catch up the Tiny in the river. No hesitation from Force Major. Happy with utilizing the Unleash set to get rid of the Tiny's health, and they've got this mid lane getting pushed in as well, so we might see BetBoom trying to convert onto a little bit of damage on the tier 2.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
One thing that I'm worried about for Mind Games is, like, even though BetBoom, they do not have this traditional, right, position 1, Visage with an AC plus Dawnbreaker and Ezo, you're going to melt no matter what kind of an item build you've got on the side of Mind Games.
Oh man, Sidekick as well on Familiars is just, again, it's way too goddamn dumb. So, like, if we're gonna see that occur multiple times in these fights, and my eyes are going to be on the Hawk and also Force Major on how they're able to be positioning close to each other to utilize those abilities and familiars together. So not only that, but like you said, the items that they have, there's a lot of synergy coming out from BetBoom. I
just love that historically Visage has always been the hero with most broken combos.
Force Major? Bignum's going to look to jump. Let's combo out. Force Major should end up ticking down to the boards, but the rest of BetBoom starting to wrap towards. Let's look at this. The Fiend's Gate along with the Solar Guardian. Low is trying to jump inside the river, targeting down Petashar, but even Ankret shows up to the party. A Scythe getting rid of the life of Notice, and what a way for Mind Games to take the fight, because they can now chain this into a third kill as Seneko under the cover of the Glimmer Cape for a second, but Mind Games, as soon as he pops out of the shadows, they can chase him behind the T2 tower, and they can also link this into their own tower objectives. So Mind Games, all right, another pretty good fight from them.
What happened there with BetBoom? Like, they jump in with the Dawnbreaker and then they just scatter. They're like, okay, never mind, bad fight.
Maybe that's the concern about Slayer. Like, he's got a blink. We saw what happened. Like, well, yeah, that one big fight at the T1 tower mid where Slayer got 4 heroes in the curse. He's got another decent one, so that's a concern. Maybe like BetBoom, that they're like always in the comms is making sure they don't get grouped up in a fight where they were in the river. That was very difficult for them to path their way to try and bring another hero Mind Games down.
It is concerning though for them. We've been building up their early game presence, their early game pressure, and we've also been building up what happens if they lose that pressure, which is kind of happening right now. Some items do change things, like they need... Oh man, that Weaver is just...
What? Oh my god, that's so much damage.
A little bit of damage, right?
Yeah, just a little. just a little.
And he's going straight for Daedalus, by the way, next. I guess that's a full crit completed for him on Weaver, yeah. So not a lot of stats, no Dragonlance, nothing like that. All the stats he's getting is from the Power Treads and Black Ink Bar pretty much. But it's good enough. All he needs to do is deal damage.
They say Ankrad.
Underlord.
How do you start though? I was gonna try Atos out.
They're really struggling. Yeah. They're truly struggling when it comes to catch. Like, they just cannot start a fight. This full BetBoom lineup is just this goo, this mass that slowly moves towards you. You see it coming, and the only question is, can you do anything about that? But escaping is not a problem. You should always be able to do that.
Again, like, look at the farm Mind Games have been finding.
Yep.
Firstly, I'm a really big fan of this ward as well by Dai's triangle bottom. It just opens up so much more access for Mind Games. You can cut mid, you can cut bot, also giving you triangle control for Dino to maybe get the Ancients. Hang on, look at this Fiend's Gate. Adashar is in such an awkward position as Underlord. Gonna look to start, but Mind Games, they're ready to counter-initiate as Ankrad, along with Bignum into the middle. They haven't even been able to bring down the Beastmaster just yet. A beautiful call and embrace along with the heal from Ankrad, keeping Predashar healthy. Now they can turn the ultimate out from Slayer, taunting up too. Now with the BKB expiring from low as Dino just really sieging down the Dawnbreaker's health pool, and Dahak is nowhere to be seen. So again, Mind Games edging out some trades in these team fights.
This is a fight completely chosen by BetBoom even, right? Like, they're the ones that used the Underlord's Gate. They moved in. They couldn't kill even the Beastmaster. By the way, Slayer was constantly there, watching, observing, until the last moment when he needed to use Cold Embrace and Winter's Curse. So it's not like Petashara was in any huge danger. It's just that Slayer decided, yeah, I have time, it's all good. I have a Blink Dagger, I'll save you no matter what. Like you said, the Hawk nowhere to be found. He was caught napping, probably. Still farming.
Hang on, this would be big old Bignum to the rescue. Avalanche at the last second, but the Weaver doesn't get enough distance, and now they can jump over to the Tiny as well as BetBoom. They find just a slither of an opportunity there to bring down Dino. That's his first death on the Weaver. Was flawless through 25 minutes of this game, but BetBoom can finally put a stop to that.
And that's the blink on Marcy as well, right? Like, there are some things, Atos plus he didn't have ulti. There are some things definitely that he needs to be careful about right now. And one thing also has to be said. This BetBoom team, if they do manage to find a couple of these pickoffs, your towers will disappear, your throne will disappear in one single push. So you better be very careful when and how you feed.
Eternal Spring.
I think both sides, honestly, just with their objective taking is through the roof. So Dice feels like just a little bit more. Big thing to mention as well real quick is that Seneko tried to place a Observer Ward down bottom by the secret shop. There was already for some reason a sentry in that area, so BetBoom won't be playing with a ward now to scout out mind games. And kind of the past couple of minutes or so, it's been a lot of emphasis on them just shoving up bottom. So this is still going to be a concern for BetBoom on now their lanes might not be in a good enough position for them to attempt Roshan.
He's just a Beastmaster buying himself some time, right? But he TP's top, now that Underlord is not there. He does have ulti to connect to, though.
Rosh is up. Second Rosh of the game. Granted, they don't have much vision by the pit. We'll be relying on the Hawks to scout this one out.
My Hawk now. My Hawk now.
How do you start on mind games? What's the play?
They could sack the Tiny, he could jump in first. The next Hawk is in 1 second, so you can send that as well.
Gotta go shortly. Rosh is falling, they need a way to scout this one out. Seneko's done an exceptional job to make sure there's no information, and they use the bugs too late. Alright, so another free Roshan for BetBoom.
I'm surprised Beast didn't at least send the other beasts in, right? Like your boars or anything that you could take with the Helm of the Overlord.
A golden thread.
They just gave away another one.
Yeah. Alright. Well, we got the Ag Shard on the Hawk. So has the Gravekeeper's Cloak active to be able to play with now. The Aegis was given over to Lyle as well on the Dawnbreaker. So some items as well continue to be accumulated for the lads on BetBoom. I think another one really to look at is just Scepter coming out surely for the Hawk is one of the few visages that... Yep.
Yeah. I love the Scepter, by the way. I think the item is underrated and underpicked. It's underrated and underpicked because there are things that are just as good or even better for snowballing. And that's what the Zero does, right? Like, you just snowball. But Visage can be played in a completely different way. You can be this Orchid Agonist kind of a guy that just gets pickoffs. And in this game, if he gets a Hex next, suddenly Weaver is not nearly as elusive. And you can be picking him off 24/7.
And I guess kind of the issues from BetBoom so far has just been their pickup potential. We're almost seeing that come into play, but Observer Sentry combo is going to scout it to Hawk. So yeah, it's nice that he's gone down this route because again, we've seen just mind games. It's really been the cat and mouse, like try and shove up the side lanes, get Dino in a position where he's going to feel comfortable showing up because Dino he was well and truly sacked in the laning phase. So now it might be difficult for them to be able to do the same thing. Top lane, Necro. Urshard's already been committed from Aincrad. They're bringing him down pretty goddamn low. Cold Embrace going to buy him some time from Aincrad. They might have to drop the curse as well, but it's going to turn Aincrad side committed, but only doing minimal amount of damage. So Last still healthy enough, turns with the Starbreaker, but Dino, with the help of the damage coming through with a couple of crits, they get the Aegis. Do they stick around though for round 2? Petasharo, the Raw's drop. Force Mage is going to try and jump in, but unable to utilize the Dispose and low. Protected for the Glimmer Cave for the moment. Dino still hunting though. Dino still has the BKB to work with, so no concerns for the Weaver. Another jump in from Beeknam as well around the secret shop. Is able to secure a successful skirmish, and it only comes at the cost of Aincrad's Necro.
And they kill 2 and they take down Aegis. There was a small mistake there between Bignum and Slayer. I think they could have taken the fight even better, but Tiny, instead of using his toss on the Underlord, tosses Slayer just before he uses ulti or anything that could save the Necro, right? So that Slayer is usually waiting for the last couple of seconds. And he literally just got tossed into the air during those last couple of seconds, so he couldn't cast anything as his Necro was dying.
I mean, we got a very low kill score game, but it feels like for BetBoom, I'm still getting a bit concerned about how these past fights have been shaping up and at least the status of this game. 30 minutes in, it's only a 3,000 net worth lead. Do you feel like they might soon run out of some steam?
A little bit, definitely. Like the way I'm seeing this game is eventually mind games should take over. As you can only throw yourself at them for a little bit, right? For a little while early on. If you do not succeed at taking anything significant, you need to change the approach to the game. And that's what this is. You see the Visage, like we talked about the Aghanims, he actually just queued up the Hex as well. This is your paradigm shift. Like from this moment onwards, it should be more about getting some pickoffs, perhaps killing the Weaver first. But they do smoke up again, so let's see.
You got to get the Winter Wyvern. I don't know how else to say, but Slayer has to be the first one to be killed off. Like, this Wyvern has just been doing way too much. The curses multiple times, the cold embraces, just keeping Necro in a position where he can get that second round of the spells off.
In teamfights, Wyvern is 100% your first target. Like, you need to deal with it. Even though they haven't done that so far. He has that blink, so he's kind of elusive.
It's a nice play from BetBoom. They're going to catch up to Dino pretty shortly here. Force Major toss back into the instant. Starts it up with the chain control. They get rid of Dino. Nicely done as BetBoom. Now being able to move this into a secondary kill, but they are instantly TPing. But oh, look at this. A quick play. lizZard, they're going to catch Aincrad off guard.
He's TPing.
Nice read. Nice read. Very nicely done, Necro.
I think that's maybe on top lane Slayer was a little bit, let's not put it selfish, but yeah, he panicked a little bit. Instead of saving that blink and just Arctic burning across the trees, waiting to see what happens, he blinks instantly, and because of that he can't really reach the Weaver to save him. So if he was ready to use either the Cold Embrace or Winter's Curse, I'm pretty sure his little dino could survive.
I like this a lot from Slayer. We've seen BetBoom, I think, at least 7 minutes, maybe even a little bit longer. They've been playing with the gem on their side. So even though Radiant have this Beastmaster, you've got to get very crafty with the position of the Hawk spot. Slayer, he's had enough. They've just lost way too much vision across the map. So into the gem is the Wyvern. Interesting. The Time Warp Aura creep. 10% reduction. Surely it's just a last resort. No other creep to get. You're like, yeah, all right, we'll play
some
with
next level. Next level, 10%.
His beast. He's got BKB if he can get it off, Slayer. It's a pretty decent curse for the moment. It's going to be a lot of damage onto the Marcy, but here's the health coming back into play thanks to the Solid Guardian. They're trying to target the backline as Victims in with the combination, but the instant BKB is going to protect him for the magic damage, and now they can turn to Aincrad next, but another Cold Embrace to buy some time.
It's just the best time to pause, right?
Oh, all right, is he dead? What's he got? Shrouds on cooldown, heals on cooldown. What do they got? Soul Assumption down.
I'm not sure if it's lag or his PC is overheating. Like, there's way too many things on the map right now.
What's... Okay, so BKB time-lapse is down. They don't have raw... I don't know if mine... I think Mind Game's got to get out. I don't know if they can stick around for Aincrad. They've already used a lot in the arsenal. You see what the call is going to be. Aincrad will tick over. And can everyone else make it out? However, Mind Game, Slayer flies over.
He's got
hunting with a familiar. Oh, so close, but meanwhile, beat them though by the secret shop. Like the Tiny instead. So a 2-for-1 and a pretty decent fight for BetBoom.
I was almost sure they caught that Wyvern as well with the gem. But the stun came just a little bit too late from the Visage. And look at this, after the team fight has been taken, this tier 3, it's looking rough.
Anything all notice is in. No hesitation for the Underlord, looking to force out some buybacks, and they do just that. He's got the Fiend's Gate if he's able to channel, but Aincrad in with the combo blows up. Notice his life. But BetBoom, they're going to read this with all the stuns that are lacking, so they will TP out. I don't know. Did you see Petashar roar something? I heard roar. I don't know who was trying to roar.
I haven't seen it, actually.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
So they forced one buyback, right, from the Necrophos? It's a pretty huge one as well. They run back afterwards. They can wait out next rush, which might respawn in the next couple of minutes. Next 3 for sure. Let's see.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, all right.
Oh, what? No. Oh, that is... You hate to see it for mind games. You get that Aegis. That's a third Roche as well. Ever important one for them, but... With lead now, 7,000 for BetBoom then. Quite a solid position for the lads on Dial. Pause as well, having some internet issues. Okay, so we've spoken about BetBoom, at least the first target for them. A lot of the priority needs to be put on Slayer, on the Winter Wyvern, but what about Mind Games? Who is that prime target that they are looking to jump at the start of the fight?
Man, it's not easy for them. I guess for them it's whoever is the closest one to kill, right? As they can blow up anyone, but at the same time everyone is hard to kill. Like, everyone is tanky enough. You have this Visage with his Gravekeeper's Cloak active, right? The Stone Form shard. You have the Dawnbreaker with the Lincolns. Enchantress naturally tanky. Marcy just elusive as hell. It's like they just have to deal with every single one of these heroes somehow. It's not that simple to call. Like, for mind games it's simple. In teamfights, Wyvern needs to die first. If we can't kill the Wyvern, teamfight is probably going to be rough. What do you think? Do you have some... Who would you call for? Who would you ask to kill off first?
That's why, lizZard, you do the analyst role. I'm coming to you for the big.
No,
brain.
I'm just sometimes I'm just curious. Like, what's your idea? I'm open for it. Like, a lot of utility is being given by Visage. So killing him off first would be huge, as you're getting rid of the AC, you're getting rid of the Raid Pact. He's spamming Soul Assumption during the fights. It would be huge to kill him, but can you kill him? That's the question. Like, there is Dispose as well, there is his Stone Form. They did try it a couple of times, so my intuition is that's what they're going for. It's just not working out.
Well,
again, here we go.
Tossing him further away from the reinforcements, but the instant use of the Stonekeeper's Cloak, the Hawks gonna be okay for the moment. Let's see how they set up for afterwards. It's able to reposition thanks to Force Major. They're gonna be cautious though, Slayer. Trying to find an opening with the curse, but they will not have one available.
You see this ward that he planted right now on mid lane? If he had it when that fight started, they actually would have gotten a couple of kills for sure, because he'd know exactly what target to Winter's Curse. But they were all constantly playing on the edge, in the fog. Marcy goes in and out, they use Lincolns on the Visage, they use Dispose, they save him. So hard to kill any one of these heroes.
Yeah. To answer your question before, again, it's probably either Visage or Dawn. You're not going to put in emphasis on Enchantress. It's just a measly old Seneko.
No, she's the last one for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. And blowing up Underlord is definitely, I don't think, a possibility. So you're already avoiding those two.
I mean, you can. Either one of these three cores can fall. So you got Necro, you got Vessel, you got Shivas.
Okay.
You have the tank breaker, right? It's not impossible.
Look at this. Smoke on smoke. It's a long wraparound from BetBoom.
This should be huge.
Secret shop. The ward on the higher gun. We're gonna get a little bit of information here. Bignum instantly jumping, targeting down Notice, but a BKB is gonna be committed. Notice protected for the moment. They're gonna be cautious though of Ankrad. He brought back Pride. They need to try and keep the Necrophos alive. Oh no, Ankrad goes down. There was no answer from Mind Games, and now they split. They've broken the formation. They've got the ward on the high gun, so Lyle's able to see the Winter Wyvern trying to get inside the pit, and now he can connect to the secret shop as well with the Solar Garden instantly joining the other lads on BetBoom in case the fight continues to break out. But BetBoom, again, they're starting to bring these team fights back in. We saw for quite some time was Mind Games that were, just edging out victories in the skirmishes, but recently it's been all BetBoom.
They had the high ground. It was a much easier fight for them. I honestly believe that's
They're on the
okay.
Wave, the Hawk. Instant use of the Hex. Tino's going to be okay thanks to Bignum jumping in with the combination. Now they're going to try and target down the Visage. Down to the southern side though, they've already lost Slayer. Wyvern's gone, no buyback. Petishar is going to enter the fight, but Dino is nowhere to be seen. Playing on the outskirts, they'll cancel the Beastmaster's TP. And now they're hunting down Dino next as well as Force Major. There's got the Underlord to jump on forward. Look at the Dispose range. Oh my lord, what is that? 8th lens, what a beautiful powerful item on the Marcy, drags back the Weaver, and puts him 6 feet under.
That's beautiful. H-Lance plus telescope as well, right? A ton of range right there coming in. And as always, Roche responds at the right time. They go in, they pick it up. There are 2 buybacks on the side of Mind Games, Weaver and Beastmaster, but this game is looking almost impossible for them. Let's see. Maybe some high ground defense is possible, but very unlikely.
What?
Yeah.
Hang on, hang on it. What's going on?
There was a side there.
Going? That's Megas. I didn't think they're gonna stop for no one.
Do you go for a throne? Or do
you might go for Dino
okay,
instead. Bignum, the counter initiation's gonna give Dino a little bit of breathing room, but it puts his own body on the line. He's just stuck inside the pit. Dino, he can't play with the Sakuchi. The defensive use of the Solar Garden from Lal. And a random roar from Padishara. There's just no synergy at the moment from Mind Games. Dino trying to chase Lal down, but Force Mage is in, but simultaneously they're losing their objectives. Mega creeps on the cards and BetBoom. And you might even feel like sticking around. You still have the Ages over on Notice, so no real threat of the Underlord being killed off.
Are they gonna go back in? Why not? You still have the Aegis, like you stated. They can continue fighting. They're just waiting for the right pick off. Perhaps the Hack. He's on the hunt. With the Hex, who can he kill? Who can he catch?
Oh, that could blow up anyone. They really could blow up anyone. It didn't matter. Look at Notice on the backline, just creating chaos so they can target down to the Beastmaster. And Grant doing a pretty good job to keep Petashara alive for the moment, but the Raw's still on cooldown, so he's going to use the BKB to escape back to the fountain. Notice falling pretty low for the moment, still going to be okay. Look at the life, so look at the health. Buildings are falling. You need something, Mind Games. You need an answer, and they won't have one. The question will go unanswered as BetBoom find our game 1 victory, 41 minutes in.
Ooh, this snowball effect definitely played itself out really well until the end. I feel that if they were reversed around this Roche pit, like if Mind Games were on the high ground and BetBoom was on the low ground, perhaps the fight would have been a little bit different, as Wyvern, again, in another fight, uses that blink instantly defensively. Like, he blinks back. The moment Slayer blinks back, they go on Necro, they blow him up. Like, you need to somehow break that first initiation with the Wyvern. That's what the hero does best. You use Cold Embrace, Winter's Curse, and suddenly you can fight afterwards. But he was unable to find those crucial team fighting ultis. But then again, BetBoom just played so well. You just need to ban this Visage. You tried giving and countering it, just take it away from them. Ban it out for the next match.
Yeah, it puts him in an interesting position now for the lads of Mind Games. Like, what is the play? Again, because we mentioned at the start of this series, the start of this game, the fact that these two teams, the last time they faced was in the 2-2 playoffs, where they let the Visage through in both Game 1 and Game 2. It was first phase instantly. So now you tried to come up with a strategy to be able to deal with the Hawks Visage. Unfortunately, weren't able to do so. I do want to give Mind Games some props, though. I think they played the early game and mid game incredibly well. We saw that their lanes didn't go the greatest, but they tried to find an angle back in. I think they did everything right at that stage, but there was a couple of costly mistakes towards the end where we didn't see the Winter Wyvern have as much impact as he did early on to kind of keep some of these cores alive. So I think for Mind Games, still, take at least that game, look at the positives, because there were definitely a lot out of it, and don't get yourselves too down and just set yourselves up for a perfect game through draft, and all of a sudden we might be going and speaking about game 3. But regardless, we are getting ahead of ourselves. This is just a game 1 of our last series of the night. It's going to be BetBoom coming out on top.